She was the Sound of Music star who once saved a drowning child on camera. He was the TV icon with 15 series to his name. Together, Heather Menzies and Robert Urich were one of Hollywood's most overlooked love stories, and one of its most heartbreaking. 2 deaths, 15 years apart, down to the exact minute. These weren't just coincidences, they were a cruel echo of a bond cut far too soon. Robert Urich wasn't born into fame. He was a football player from Ohio. No industry ties, just talent, charm, and the backing of a loyal friend, Burt Reynolds. Burt helped Robert land his first big role in SWAT, 1975. It didn't last long, but it launched a career. Then came Vega, and Robert became a star. A red Thunderbird, a smooth-talking detective, and 2 Golden Globe nominations later, he was a household name. But Robert didn't settle for being a primetime heartthrob. He did comedy in Soap, espionage in Gavilan, and led The Lazarus Man in the 90s. For nearly 30 years, he dominated television, always evolving, never typecast. In Spencer, For Hire, 1985 to 1988, he became the moral compass of gritty Boston streets. His chemistry with Avery Brooks and the show's focus on justice made it a fan favorite and a cultural touchstone. Then, a pivot no one saw coming. Robert became the voice of National Geographic Explorer. From deep-sea mysteries to ancient civilizations, he narrated with sincerity, earning both a Cable Ace Award and an Emmy. But perhaps his boldest act came in 2000. While battling rare, aggressive cancer, he made his Broadway debut in Chicago. Despite chemo and exhaustion, he delivered a powerful performance that stunned audiences. As Heather said, there was a twinkle in his eye when he took the stage. Heather's own journey began in hardship. A Toronto-born child of Scottish immigrants who fled post-war Britain. They were broke and displaced. But from those struggles, Heather developed something Hollywood couldn't teach: grit. By age 14, Heather Menzies had already lived in 4 cities across 2 countries: Vancouver, Miami, London, and Southern California. Her father's failing art career meant constant moves. Each new school meant learning new accents, making new friends, and adapting fast. That early instability would shape her and prepare her for fame. With no acting experience, Heather auditioned for The Sound of Music at 14. Surrounded by polished child actors, she had no resume, no agent, just authenticity. That's what made her stand out. She was cast as Louisa Von Trapp, and suddenly, the quiet immigrant girl was on a global stage, but filming wasn't without danger. During the iconic rowboat scene, the boat capsized. 5-year-old Kim Careth, Gretel, couldn't swim. As cameras rolled, Heather dove in and saved her. What you see on screen is real. A terrifying moment turned heroic. When The Sound of Music premiered in 1965, it became a global sensation. 5 Oscars, $286 million worldwide, and 283 million tickets sold. Heather was just 15 and instantly famous, but she didn't want to stay locked in that innocent image. In 1973, she posed nude for Playboy in a spread titled Tender Trap, a bold move to reshape her identity. That same year, she starred in a bizarre horror film about a mad scientist and his snake-human experiments. Heather took it seriously, even when the material was absurd. In 1977, she starred in Logan's Run as Jessica Six, a rebellious character in a skimpy costume that made CBS nervous. Executives pushed for changes, but Heather stood her ground. She was done playing it safe. Then came Piranha, 1978, a low-budget horror film that became a surprise cult hit. With just $700,000 in funding, it made $16 million. Even Spielberg praised it. Heather's performance as Maggie McKeown, a no-nonsense tracker, anchored the film. In 1974, she met Robert Urich on the set of a Libby's canned hash commercial, playing a married couple. The chemistry was instant and real. Heather was 25, newly divorced. Robert was 28, on the brink of stardom. One commercial turned into a connection that lasted a lifetime. They married on November 21, 1975, just over a year after meeting. Fast, but real. Everyone who knew them said the same thing. It just worked. No scandal, no Hollywood drama, just love. At the time, Robert was transforming himself into a star. With the help of Burt Reynolds, he bulked up for his role in SWAT and won over producer Aaron Spelling. Heather, meanwhile, was trying to break free of her child star past and reinvent herself as a serious actress. They both had marriages behind them and wounds to heal. But together, they found something rare in Hollywood: stability. By 1978, Robert landed the lead in Vega, a hit show that ran for 3 years and earned him 2 Golden Globe nominations. The public saw them not just as stars, but as a couple, real, grounded, and deeply in love. Heather even guest-starred in 3 episodes of Vega Dolls, as Robert made sure she stayed part of his journey. Robert didn't just give Heather roles, he gave her space in his world. When she chose to step back from acting to focus on family, he supported her fully. In an industry driven by ego, that kind of partnership was rare. Soon after their 1975 wedding, Heather became pregnant. It was a joyful surprise, until it wasn't. She miscarried. Then it happened again, and again. 3 pregnancies, 3 losses. The grief nearly broke them. Eventually, they turned to adoption. It wasn't quick, but it brought healing. Ryan arrived in 1978, Emily in 1980, and decades later, Allison in 1998. Each child was loved fully. Ryan became a doctor, inspired by his father's health battles. Emily became an ER nurse. Their children became healers, maybe because they saw what it took to keep fighting. Heather had been a rising star, The Sound of Music, Logan's Run, but she chose family over fame. After 1979, her screen appearances slowed to a trickle. She walked away from the spotlight to build a stable home. Robert, too, redefined fatherhood in Hollywood. Despite starring in 15 TV shows, he never let work come first. While filming Spencer, for hire, he added a clause to his contract so he could fly cross-country for Emily's medical appointments. When Ryan misbehaved, Robert didn't punish. He connected. Even 2 days before his death, too weak to stand, he played on the floor with little Allison. In August 1996, Robert was diagnosed with synovial sarcoma, a rare, aggressive cancer. He was 49. The timing couldn't have been worse. The Lazarus Man was a hit, and he was in peak condition. But the diagnosis changed everything. Despite promising ratings, Castle Rock canceled the show. 2 finished episodes were never aired. Hollywood was stunned. The treatments were brutal. Daily chemotherapy, searing radiation, and months of pain. Robert described the chemo like chemicals burning through his veins. Radiation targeted his groin with such intensity that even breathing became difficult. By February 1997, he had lost his hair and could barely eat. But then, a miracle. In October 1997, surgeons went in and found nothing. The tumor was gone. Not even scar tissue remained. Robert was declared cancer-free. Doctors called it extraordinary. He became the national spokesperson for the American Cancer Society, fulfilling what he called his deal with God. He told the world, "It is survivable." He returned to work, starred in Love Boat, The Next Wave, and in 2000, fulfilled a dream by performing on Broadway in Chicago. Robert and Heather believed the cancer battle was over after his 1997 remission. He donated $125,000 from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire to cancer research and helped launch the Urich Fund for sarcoma studies. He traveled, raising awareness, and began writing his memoir. But in 2001, the cancer returned, more aggressive and untreatable. Robert passed away on April 16, 2002, at age 55, with Heather and their 3 adopted children by his side. Their 27-year marriage had endured joys and heartbreaks, including multiple miscarriages and the fight to build a family through adoption. At his funeral, nearly 1,000 mourners, including Hollywood stars, paid tribute. Heather founded the Robert Urich Foundation, turning her grief into purpose by raising funds and awareness for cancer research. In November 2017, at 68, Heather was diagnosed with glioblastoma, a deadly brain cancer, exactly 15 years after Robert's death. Her decline was rapid. She died on Christmas Eve, surrounded by her children. Her son Ryan said she passed peacefully, having lived a passionate life and knowing when to let go. Heather's death echoed her husband's, marking the loss of another beloved member of the Sound of Music family. Ryan remembered her not just as Louisa Von Trapp, but as a dancer, actress, mother, and fighter who dedicated her life to helping others, graceful until the very end. Please subscribe to our channel for more videos, and don't forget to press the bell icon.